What up, all my fight fans? UFC 281 is in the books, and we got ourselves a new middleweight champion, Alex Pereira, or Pereira, whatever you want to say it as. But we got ourselves a new middleweight champion, guys. I actually had said this in my prior videos about Izzy coming in there with a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and he did have some good amount of pressure on his shoulders. I mentioned the pressure of losing 2 fights to this guy. I mentioned the pressure of him being knocked out by this guy. I mentioned the pressure of him having boring fights and the fans coming after him. I mentioned that kind of pressure as well. So he has had so much pressure riding on him that he was just trying to get everything out. I saw the Izzy fight. I saw how he was fighting. He was fighting not reckless, but not his usual stand back and jab kick type of fight that he usually does, like he did with the Vittori fight, with the Whitaker fight, what he did with the Cannonier fight. He didn't do that. But not only was it because of the pressure, because he wanted to prove something, but he also because he was going against a guy who just so happened to have just as long of a reach, just as tall, and just as long of legs, just as literally had the exact same amount of length as Izzy does. And Izzy has not really fought anybody that. Look at his long list. You know, you got Kevin Gastelum, you got Robert Whitaker, you got Paulo Costa, you got Yoel Romero, you got Marvin Vittori, you got Robert Whitaker again, you had Jared Cannonier. None of these guys had that height. Maybe Paulo Costa just a little bit, but they didn't have that reach. They didn't have those long legs. They didn't have those long arms. They didn't have all that. You know, so a lot of people were counting out Alex Pereira because of the fact that this is his 5th, maybe, or 4th or 5th UFC fight, and he gets a championship. Well, guys, the guy's been doing this for a very long time, and you know what? Styles do make fights. Izzy was not a wrestler. I guarantee you, if he had some wrestling in his arsenal, if he was able to wrestle just a little bit more, he did some good takedowns here and there. But if he had a lot more of that in his back pocket, I promise you, he would have won this fight very easily. But here's the thing, the guy is huge. I'm talking huge. He is a big boy. I'm talking Alex Pereira. So when I hear people say, oh, we're gonna, he could go get taken down by these wrestlers. Yeah, it's true, he could. But at the same token, he's huge. But still, nonetheless, let's talk about this fight. Izzy tried to take him down multiple times. Izzy did take him down a few times, but you could just see the struggle and why. Not just because of the size, but also because of the fact that Izzy's really not known for his wrestling. Izzy has never been known to be a wrestler. He's never really taken guys down. He never really uses jiu-jitsu. I honestly can't even remember his last submission. And I can't even remember this last takedown prior to this takedown. So other than that, guys, he actually did more of what I thought he was going to do. I thought he was going to turn up the fight just a little bit. I figured that he was going to try to prove a point. I figured that he was going to go out there and try to go for that kill, but play it safe at the same time. And that's what he did. He had him hurt in that first round. He clocked him. And thank God for that bell, because if it wasn't for that bell, I believe that fight would have been over in that first round very, very easily. And then, Pereira comes out and does his thing. He jabs, he leg kicks. He's able to get Izzy just a little bit in trouble. It almost felt like Pereira wasn't really too worried about his power, Izzy's power I'm talking about. He wasn't really too worried about his leg kicks because he kept coming forward. He kept pressuring Izzy, and Izzy kept being on that back foot, moving around, jabbing, catching him with shots. I mean, Izzy was quick as lightning in that fight. He was jabbing, throwing some leg kicks in there too as well. But I believe that power and that strength that Pereira possesses was just a little too much for Izzy. And the fact that he had all this pressure on him, and the fact that Izzy has not really faced anybody with that kind of size and length combination due to his prior opponents. He didn't have that going in there. So that's where the trouble came from. He was winning this fight, though. He was winning this fight. Pereira may have gotten that that second round for sure. That first round, you probably could have maybe, due to that fact that he hurt him. I believe that edged Izzy. That first round, second round, Pereira, the third and fourth, for sure, Izzy. Izzy was just sharpshooting him, snipering him out, leg kicking him here and there, and then getting him hurt a little bit. It looked like he hurt him a few times. and got him in there with the grappling exchanges and such. So, but then that fifth round, Pereira just had no choice but to unload. He saved all his energy. He could have unloaded earlier in the rounds, I feel, but with his cornerman Glover Teixeira saying, "Hey, you're behind. You got to do something," and that's what he did. He went out there and he just unloaded. He's like, "Hey, I got nothing to lose." He went in there with nothing to lose. Basically, he ain't the champion. He wasn't the interim champion. He went in there like 4 fights in, getting a title shot. So it's like, hey, if you lost, big deal. You lost to the champion, probably top 5 pound for pound fighter of all time right now, or fighter in the UFC right now. So you really got nothing left to lose. And yeah, sure, you might lose against this guy, but hey, at the end of the day, you're still one up on him. But look he went out there, took his chance, went after him, clocked Izzy with a few good shots, hurt Izzy. Izzy was in trouble, staggering around the cage. He was able to trap Izzy, got him with a few more shots, boom, stoppage. So at the end of the day, Alex Pereira was able to do what I pretty much predicted he was going to do. He was going to go in there. He was going to use his size. He was going to use his strength. He was also going to use the fact that he knew he had 2 shots over Izzy. And he knows the difference. Now, I know what a lot of people were saying. I heard a lot of different podcasts and a lot of professionals talking about this, saying like, oh, well, it's a different game. Izzy got a lot better. Izzy has done a lot better since they first met. And of course, and so has Pereira. Maybe not in MMA, but he has still grown into the sport as much. And besides, we don't know what he does behind the scenes. Who knows? Maybe behind the scenes this entire time he was actually doing jiu-jitsu. Maybe he was actually doing wrestling. Maybe he was actually training for takedown defense. Maybe he was doing all this stuff. We just do not know. 100% we don't know. But Pereira went in there and did what he was able to do. Izzy went in there, tried to do his best. He was going for that victory, but unfortunately he got caught. It does happen. I'm not saying because of the fact that Izzy is not as good. Izzy is a great fighter. Izzy is a very, very top level fighter. He's by far the best middleweight of all. Right now, I'm speaking. Not back then. I believe still Anderson Silva carries that title. But right now, Izzy is still the best one. You put any other person outside of Pereira, Izzy's pretty much winning that decision, no problem. And maybe even knocking them out, no problem. But right now, I believe this guy does have Izzy's number just a little bit, just due to the fact that Izzy does not have a lot of wrestling in his arsenal that he can use as a plan B. And Izzy is usually favored against being he is basically, when it comes to him being the bigger guy, he is the one that's able to dictate everything else. When he's able to use his long arms, his long legs, his height against these other guys, he usually favors well for Izzy. But when he doesn't have that to his advantage, it's a little bit more of a struggle, and he's not used to that. And it's not his fault because the middleweight division doesn't have that very many big guys like Pereira does. But nonetheless, you got yourself a new middleweight champion, Alex Pereira. Let me know in the comments, guys. What do you think? Let me know what you feel. Let me know how you think the fight went down. Let me know what kind of champion you think it is going to be. And you let me know what you think what's going to be next for Alex Pereira. Let me know in the comments, guys. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video.